What's up, you majestic what the fluffs? I'm Tyler.
And I'm Shorty.
And we are the Inner Idiots. That's right, you hear the music. Don't adjust your ear holes. We're here to feed your souls, manipulate your brain waves, because we're all the listeners' faves. That's right, it ain't wet from sweat, and we ain't done yet, so don't sweat the technique. Oh, today is going to be a special episode. I am your I'm your host. Look at that. I fucked it up, but we're going to keep rolling. I'm your host, Tyler Havlin. Oh, no, you really didn't want to start over, did you?
No, I was like, wow, this guy's nailing it. And all of a sudden, he's like, I'm the co-host, and I'm like, you idiot.
Well, you hear his voice. That's right, it's my wonderful co-host, the Lord that's never bored, the commander of the comic books, with all his shirt allergies, Shorty Fresh in the flesh. 2 claps and a Ric Flair for Lord Shorty Hoffman. Woo!
That's right. I'm here.
He's here. He ain't queer yet.
I'm not yet.
He will be.
I'm not
eventually.
queer.
I think you
but
will
I'm
be.
close, so get used to it. That's the metrosexual anthem right there. You know that? Yeah, I'm here. I'm not queer, but I'm close, so get used to it.
We're going to roll with it. Run it. All right. So, like I said, special episode. We got a good guest today.
Just good, huh?
Just
good.
Just great.
She's
That's
fantastic.
Right. She is a true Wonder Woman. She's done so much for the community that she represents and that we're going to talk about today. I don't have an intro because no intro is good enough for her. So we're just going to give it up. 2 claps and a Ric Flair for Jen Havlin. Woo! How you doing today, Jen?
I'm doing pretty good, baby. Jen, a.k.a. Harley Rican, for those who know me on my bike.
Harley what?
Harley Rican, because my dad gave me that nickname. Because
Okay.
I'm crazy like Harley Quinn, but I'm Puerto Rican. So Harley Rican.
Harley Rican.
Oh, all right.
I can dig it. I can dig it.
Heck yeah. Doesn't help that Harley Quinn's a white girl from Boston.
Is that where she's from, Boston?
I think so.
Fucking
No,
love Boston.
she's from Gotham. She is from Gotham. I don't know if she was born in Gotham. She might be. I'm not sure.
Well, that's pretty close, because wouldn't Gotham be New York?
Yeah, Gotham City is known like Manhattan Island, pretty
Right.
much. Like that's it.
And I was raised in Connecticut, which is like 40 minutes from New York. So
Word.
That's right. I always forget
she could
you're
be my
from New
sister from
England.
another mother.
Yep, that's right.
That
Well,
is
she was
correct.
also no, she was born in 1991.
Okay, then she's my
Yeah,
younger
she's
sister.
a
She's
little
my
younger
younger
than you.
sister.
92, I think.
She's my younger, better looking sister. We'll go with
Nah,
that.
give yourself some credit.
I don't know, man. Harley Quinn's gorgeous.
She's pretty hot. I
got
mean, I can admit
I got
that.
3 statues right there to prove it.
Yeah,
You got
yeah.
another one over there.
She's pretty
Oh,
hot.
shit, I do.
But normally the hot ones are the craziest. So
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, just proving a point,
I
you know.
mean,
You're just proving a point here.
have to put that out there.
We're going to roll into today's top 5, and it correlates with what the rest of the episode is going to be about. But today's top 5 is the top 5 proudest moments as a parent. I'm going to have mine. Jen's going to have hers. Shorty's going to have his shit opinion. And we're going to roll with it. Jen, you want to go first?
Sure.
All
Let's
right.
see. So for the first one, I would have to say it would be when he said his first words, because it was in my first divorce and it was telling his sperm donor father, get out. That would be my first proud moment. Second one was when he told me he loved me. Third one.
What is this? Is this the
This
older
is
or
Daniel.
younger? Okay.
Daniel, the oldest.
So all of your proud moments have to do with your first kid. Your second kid hasn't done shit, huh?
No, the second one has his too, but I didn't know if he wanted 5 on one, 5 on the other. I mean, Tony would be when he joined the Special Olympics and won first place and third place in a meet. When he graduated from middle school and on a quiet moment during the ceremony, he decided to say, oh shit. So that was
that's
awesome.
beautiful.
Because
That's
he's
beautiful.
nonverbal technically. So in the middle of silence, him saying that was pretty amazing.
That's awesome.
So that would be.
I'd be proud of that.
That would be a few of my proudest moments.
Yeah, no, that's dope. That's dope.
I like it. All right, so here's my top 5. Now, usually I give 5. Today I have to give 6 because look, I have to give them the
3
same
to
amount
each.
because here's the thing. My oldest is a snowflake, and I don't want her crying.
Aw.
And my youngest is
That's
a
fine.
demon, and if I don't give her the same amount, she's probably going to smother me with a pillow in my sleep.
I think you underestimate Kira, but
Kira's too sweet for her own good.
you know, you got to watch out for the quiet ones.
Man, like, I have mildly, and I mean this mildly because I love Kira. She's such a sweet girl. Like, I have mildly picked on her, and she just fires right back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She is your daughter.
Like, she ain't soft, buddy.
No.
She ain't soft. She's ready for it.
All right.
She's a good kid.
Well, here is my number 6 proudest moment as a parent. Number 6. My youngest daughter, Ev, is the same height as your husband. She's 3, people.
I would have to agree.
That makes me proud. All right, my number 5 is Kira. All right, so when she was younger, and this was a shining moment in my life, I used to have to take her to work with me every morning, and she would get picked up from my work. We had a routine, you know. Routines are pretty common for kids.
They're important.
So we would get to my work, I would change her diaper, and then we would hang out until her mother picked her up. So we get to work, I change her diaper, I put the clean diaper on her, and we're sitting there for about 15 minutes, and I smell something god-awful. Now, I am not kidding. Cross my heart. Swear to God, hope to die, all that fun shit. This kid took the biggest dump, and I'm telling you, she shit in her fucking armpits.
It just splattered up.
Shit went all the way up her back and into her armpits.
Fucking blowouts. I've seen that.
Now, me being a creature of routine, I didn't have another diaper.
So you just handed her to her mother?
No, her mother was going to be about another 20 minutes, and I couldn't let her stew in that. But I was so proud of her for putting me through that. So what I did is I cleaned her up, went into the fucking restroom, got some paper towels, and then I had to take a work shirt and make a makeshift diaper out of it. I'm not proud of myself for the diaper. I'm proud of her for shitting in her fucking armpits.
She was breaking you in.
She's like, listen, guy, you're going to deal with shit. You're going to deal with shit, a lot of it.
That's right. She was preparing you for your future. Shit all the way.
Yeah,
I have a proud moment of not my kid, but one of my nephews that has to do with shit. When my nephew Ethan, I don't give a fuck, I'll name drop him. When Ethan, he's about 15 now, but when he was like 2 or 3 and he was potty training, this used to be at my parents' house. We were it was during Thanksgiving or Easter or something like that, but he's potty training. He comes running up the stairs and stops right there on the landing. And I'm standing at the top watching the TV with my dad, and he looks at me and he's all scared and worried. I was like, Ethan, what's wrong, bud? And he drops his pants, and I watched 3 little turds hit the landing. I laughed so hard. Like, he's just, and I died. And then he starts crying, and my sister-in-law yells at me, you're like, stop laughing, you're embarrassing. I said, I cannot not laugh.
That was priceless.
Dude, that is single-handedly one of the best moments I've ever seen in my entire life.
I mean, if you're going to talk about a proud moment being about feces or peeing, well, then I got 2 for you.
Well, let's hear them.
Okay, Tony, proud moment, youngest. He learned that you water plants and trees, and we had a fake tree in the house. He had to go potty.
I like where it's going already.
He had to go potty, and I think that they were occupied or some shit like that. So sure enough, he remembered that you water trees, and he pulled his pants down and proceeded to pee on the fake tree.
I love it. I love it.
Or when he went to some pool with his school or whatever, and the teacher told him, now, Tony, if you have to go potty, you have to get out of the pool and go potty. So sure enough, he had to pee. So he got out of the pool and proceeded to pee into the pool. But he still followed.
That's the location. It's the location that matters.
Loopholes.
He still followed the rules. So.
Be specific.
Exactly. You have to be specific.
All right. My number 4 moment. So, you've met Ev. She's got a mouth on her. All right. First time.
I don't know this.
Attitude for days. She got attitude for days.
So, I'm picking her up from my sister. And I pick her up. We get in the car. And I love it when she can use a derogatory term in the correct context. It brings me joy. It's like, oh, I'm doing something right as a parent. So I get her in the car. We're driving home. She says, Dad, Romeo's a dick. I said, huh? Well, first of all, congratulations on using that correctly. Second, who the fuck is Romeo? And she proceeded to tell me Romeo is the villain from PJ Masks. So here's where I catch a lot of flack. Is because, I'll let my daughter say foul stuff. I don't care. She knows when to say it, and she's proved it in what's coming up next. So, she had her first day of daycare. I was like, look, you cannot say bad words. Okay? I'm going to drop you off. You cannot say bad words here. They'll make me pick you up. So she has her first day of daycare. I get no call saying, hey, your daughter said fuck you to somebody. Cool. So I pick her up. We're in the car. We're on our way home. I was like, Ev, were you nice to people today? Because she's mean. She looked at me, and she could not answer me honestly. So she looked at me, shrugged her shoulders. She's like, I didn't cuss. That's my girl. She didn't lie to me.
When you say goodbye to her, don't you always say, I fucking hate you or something like that?
I fucking love you.
I fucking love you.
Yeah.
Tell your child I fucking hate you.
Bye,
Dad.
Yeah.
No, I tell her I fucking love you.
And she says it back.
Did you have a good relationship with your father? Are you okay? Do you need a hug? Like, I'll give you one. It's okay.
I'm good.
All right. My number 3 moment is when my oldest daughter, Kira, shaved her head. She didn't care what people thought. She wanted to shave her head. She didn't care.
Good girl.
And it was a proud moment. Not only because I'm bald, and I knew she would look good with a matching haircut.
Next time I cut it, I'll donate it to you. Don't worry.
No,
give you some curls.
It's not growing on me.
Literally.
He always gives me shit.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was a very proud moment just to, see my kid embrace who she wants to be.
I just remember walking in your house. I'm like, hi, kid. What'd you do to your head?
Yeah.
I shaved my head. How you doing, babe? That's all I got. I just remember stopping mid-sentence, looking at her like, what'd you do to your head?
I'm trying to get this one to do it. She's slowly gravitated shorter and shorter, but she likes dyeing it now, so she
What's the craze? I don't understand the craze of it. Like shaving, no, not the dyeing of the hair. I totally get that. The shaving the part. Because I've seen several women do this recently.
I personally think it's empowering. Go ahead and say what you were going to say.
Well, I mean, it all depends on the why. Like, I have a reason why I did it. And it wasn't just because of the foundation that I supported and I raised a lot of money, which, by the way, my husband shaved it live.
Oh, cool.
I think it all depends on the journey that every woman is going through. Some women do it because, how can I put it? Women are defined by their hair. Let's be real. We are. We
actually touched on this the last episode.
We're defined by our hair. And I mean, it's all about physical attraction, right? Mm-hmm. The first thing you look at, her hair, her eyes, her boobs, her ass, all of those things. When a woman doesn't have hair, it kind of, I don't know, I guess for some men, it makes you pause for a minute. So some women, because we're defined by our hair, we decide that we want to be defined by ourselves and we chop it off. Okay. So that then you get to know us. You know what I mean? And if a guy is actually interested, he will be interested in you regardless if you have hair or not. Sure. You know what I mean? So a lot of women, they do it for many reasons, many journeys in their life or whatever. I did it for a similar reason. But I did it like crazy. Like you saw, I razor cut my hair like bald, shiny like this one over here. Yeah. And that was because I wanted everything gone. I wanted everything eliminated. All the 40 years of my hair, I wanted it gone because it was like a rebirth for me. Sure. I wanted to start fresh, start new, next 40 years of my life to be good, So every woman, I guess, they have their own journey. But then you have the women that just do it because there's a meme going around or something like that. If you never shave your head, when can you tell your kids that you did it? Like, it's a cool factor. Like, if you never do it, then can you ever say you did it?
Well, I mean, I've seen a fair amount of women, especially recently. I think it's over the last probably 6 months.
Especially Hollywood and stuff, yes.
I don't pay attention
I've
to
seen
Hollywood.
a lot of famous people have done it as well.
But I've seen a few women, or at least women that I'm close to, shave their heads, and it always confuses me. Now, like, I will admit, like, I'm fairly biased, especially when I'm looking, because I'm young and well, not young, but I'm single.
And you're male.
Yeah, you ain't spring chicken anymore. Right. Don't lie.
But I tend to like prefer women with longer hair. Right. It's just a preference. Now, I've dated women with shorter hair and stuff like that, crew cuts, pixie cuts, whatever. But it's just a natural preference of mine is longer hair, just because I prefer the way it looks. But I don't.
Does their hair have to be longer than yours?
No, I don't care. Okay. No. I've had a few girlfriends actually with shorter hair than mine, and it's actually a bigger issue for them than it is me.
That you have long hair and
because I had my hair down to my waist at one point when I was a teenager, and the one girl I was dating got her hair cut, and like it was a huge deal that her hair was shorter because she didn't realize it was going to be shorter. Because a lot of times when I was a teenager, I would braid my hair. That way it didn't get like all messed up from me riding my bike and stuff. Yeah. And I had my hair down one day, and my sister, she liked to do my hair or whatever. She always tried to practice braids and stuff. And she was there combing my hair out. I'm sitting there playing video games. And my girlfriend at the time come over. And she goes, oh, my God, my hair is shorter than his. And I turned around, and she got it cut, but it went from, like, here to here. So I'm like, did you?
I mean, hair, I think it does. Society also, you know, depicts women, long, beautiful, flowy hair, whatever. And to be real, it's a society thing. Yeah. You're kind of trained to prefer women with longer hair.
I never really thought about it until you said that. I'm like, oh wow, like
so maybe... most women are like, well, know me for me. Like, would you still? Let's put it this way: if you love someone, a woman, right, loved her to death, she got cancer. Are you gonna love her any less because she doesn't have hair?
Well, no, exactly. Right.
Exactly. So then I guess women nowadays, but then again, you have the whole cancer fucking culture, not cancer, cancel. The whole cancel.
I mean, it is a cancer.
It is a cancer.
It really is. It is.
So you got cancer.
So you have that whole bullshit going on right now where then they're doing it for all the stupid reasons. Like, I'm a woman, so I can look however the hell I want, and you just have to deal with it. And I have my reservations on that. I am not a what do you call them? You know, female. No, the
feminist.
I'm not a feminist like the bullshit feminists you see nowadays wearing a vagina hat. Yeah. But I don't know. I'm old school in a certain sense where I do believe that I should cater to my husband, you know, feed him first and all that stuff. That's an old school thing. Yeah. But I do it not because of society or I was brainwashed into doing it. I just feel like my husband deserves that respect. Sure. But at the same token, he respects me and puts me in the place that I deserve as well as a woman, as his queen per se. So the whole feminist thing, they're trying so hard to be like a guy, but they forget what makes us unique, which is the shit that we do that y'all can't do.
Exactly right. Yes.
And that is important. It's okay. Like, I could be a feminist just as much as I could be a woman that enjoys catering to my husband. Yeah. Like, that doesn't make me any less.
And like, I've explained this to a few women. Like, it's not patriarchy if you willingly do it.
Exactly.
Like, patriarchy is me telling you to like, hey, go in the fucking
make
kitchen
me a sandwich
and make me a fucking sandwich. Like, that's patriarchy. Right. Now, if we're sitting there, I'm playing video games, you're reading a book, or you're playing video games with me, you stop and you're like, hey, do you want a sandwich?
Right.
And I say yes. You're not throwing the patriarchy down.
Exactly.
You're willingly doing something.
Exactly.
If I'm getting up to make me a sandwich and I ask you if you want one, oh my God, gender roles are being reversed. We can't have that. Like,
right.
Fuck off,
Exactly. Dude. Exactly. I think people just have gone way too far on this. And
I get in arguments a lot with, because I'm real big on the mental health stuff. And I hear a lot of women talk about like, oh, the patriarchy and this is what men do and stuff like that. I'm like, can I tell you what women have done to men just mental health wise? And they're like, that doesn't matter. You can't see that. And I'm like,
yeah, that's wrong.
I'm like, but I can tell you about it. And then like, I had one girl almost in tears because of how enraged I was about it, because it is something near and dear to my heart.
Yeah. And you see that now in society too. Like, a man can't say, oh, I was sexually assaulted by a woman, because they just laugh at you. And I'm like, why is that any different than a woman? A man can get sexually assaulted.
Exactly right.
Not all men are beefy. Not all men are strong. There are some when...
Even if you're not, even if you are big and strong or something like that.
You could still be discriminated against. Absolutely.
You know, if I tell a girl that I know I don't want to have sex, you know, because whether I'm in the mood or anything of that, you know, if I say no... Right. And she presses it forward, is that my consent? Absolutely not.
Correct.
Like, oh, well, your dick still got hard. Like,
exactly.
And I'm like, that doesn't mean anything. Like,
correct.
If I force myself on you, your vagina is still going to get wet.
Exactly.
Purely for the fact that it is a defense mechanism and how your body is designed.
It's a genetic thing. Absolutely. Yeah. We're built that way. And it doesn't mean that was consensual. And it's actually been proven in a court of law where someone tried to say, well, she wouldn't have, you know, came or whatever if she didn't want it. That's a lie. That's an absolute lie.
Absolutely.
Because your body's going to react to stimulation, period.
Yep.
And that doesn't make it right one way or the other. But people just don't. Again, it's the brainwashing. They're so society based that they don't realize that men and women go through the same exact things.
Absolutely. And I think it's crazy. Like, a lot of women like are falling, especially young women, you know, 18, I would say 17 to 23 are really falling into that trap where like men are the devil. And for no in particular reason. And they're just like, this is it. And I'm like, well, that's not accurate. Like, here are the real numbers and this is what's happening.
It's a bad cycle. It's a bad roller coaster because, for example, women feel that way. And then a man's going to be like, well, then screw it then. Why am I going to be chivalrous? Why am I going to be a gentleman when I'm going to be treated or assumed to be the X, Y, and Z? So women, in a sense, are forcing men to just say, screw it.
Yeah.
And then vice versa. Then the women come across those men that are jaded and they're like, well, why do I even bother? You know, so it's, if people would just stop assuming and basing their opinions on other people's feelings, then perhaps we would be able to have a better society instead of a bunch of robots just following along what other stupid people say.
I can remember, like, the chivalry thing. I can remember one time in particular that I held the door open for first a dude. Like, I just got to a door first. I stepped to the side. He went through. And then a chick stopped. And she was like, I don't need you to hold the door for me. I was like, if you notice, that was a man. And she was like, excuse me? I was like, a man just walked in before you.
Right.
And she was like, so? And I'm like, I don't care who you are.
I held it for him
I was
first.
like, you can go first. She goes, you just want to look at my ass. I'm like,
oh my God.
I was like, is that what I'm doing to him? And she just looked at me like I was stupid. And I'm like, I'm confused, ma'am. Like, I don't understand.
At that point, I would just walk through the door and be like, don't let it hit you. I mean, there's only so much you can do.
And I've grabbed, like, my nieces or whatever. Like, I've grabbed them by the arm and pulled them back out. I'm like, let's try this again. And she goes, what do you mean? I was like, you say thank you.
Correct.
I was like, no matter who holds the door, whether it's me, another dude, or another woman, you always say thank you. Like, that's a big thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, like, I'll scream it at women or men in general that don't say thank you. I'm like, you're welcome! And they're like, God damn, this guy's making a scene. I'm like, yeah, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, well, we got derailed. And that's
Sorry.
No, it's great. I love it. Y'all make my job easier when you do that. Because then I get to sit here and collect my thoughts, take a nap, all that fun stuff. But anyways, number
Scratch
2.
an itch.
Oh my God, we're on number 2.
Yeah, we're still on the top 5.
Jesus.
Lord.
Number 2 is Ev hasn't killed anybody yet.
Hallelujah.
And we're going to get through this one real quick because we're going to take a break. Number 1 is my oldest just learned how to ride a bike this last week. She is almost 10 years old, finally learned how to ride a bike. And I am proud of it. And here's one of the biggest reasons I'm proud of it. Not just because you learn how to ride a bike. I have the 2 clumsiest children in the goddamn world.
Again, they're your daughters.
These motherfuckers will trip over air.
I have watched your daughter.
They're working
run
on your
into a
genes,
wall.
man. I mean, they have what they have.
I am not that clumsy because I was always athletic coming up. Like, now I'm just old and clumsy.
Bullshit.
My knees, my back. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now I'm old.
I watch you cautiously go down the stairs every day.
I'm old now and fat.
Tyler, I am older than you.
Yeah, well.
Let's not even go there with age. Age is only but a number.
Yeah, well,
He does this number going down the stairs.
I
It's
really
fine.
do, and you're about to see it.
It's because you're too tall,
And heavy.
The bigger they are, the harder they fall.
That's right. I haven't fell in a while though. I did fall, so we were outside the other day kicking a soccer ball
Look who's
around.
squirreling now.
Well, so they kicked the soccer ball, and I had to stop it from going in the street because I didn't want my kids running the street. So I went to stop it. My foot went on top of it.
It's called natural selection.
But
anyway.
as I went down, the training came back, and instead of falling flat on my face, I actually ninja rolled through it, and I was fairly proud of myself for
Very
this,
good.
and popped right back up on my feet. Couldn't have done it again if I tried, but that's the top 5. That's it.
That's excellent.
Yeah, we're gonna take a break, and then we're gonna come back, and we got some questions for you, Jim.
Sounds good.
He
But
has
Bring
questions.
it
I don't
on.
have any.
Bring it on. Oh, you have to have 8 questions.
You'll have a question, Shorty.
No,
I
all
know
my
you.
stuff comes on the spot. I don't
That's what I'm
prepare
saying.
anything.
That's what I'm
you
saying,
will have
yeah.
one.
I'll figure
You
it
got to
out.
have something.
So yeah, enjoy the little music break. We'll be right back.
Hey, Ty, if you wanted to make a podcast, how would you do it?
Spotify Podcasters app, of course, or hell, even the website.
Do they have any way you can edit audio and help with organizing your episodes?
All that and more. You can reach out to listeners and have feedback with their Q&A feature, and it distributes it to all other major places you listen to podcasts.
I just looked, and they got a video podcast set up and editing tools here, too.
So all you got to do is sign up at SpotifyForPodcasters.com or get the app, and you're done.
Damn, it's just that easy.
Hey, guess what? You can hear my voice. That means we're back. That's right.
Man.
Hey, Shorty.
Yeah.
You know what Amazon and us have in common?
We both have packages?
That and we both deliver smiles.
Oh.
You see what I did there?
I see it. That's
Eh.
stupid.
For those of you listening, We are going to post the link tree for our show in every episode's description from now on. From the link tree, you can find our merchandise. You can find our Patreon page where we do monthly giveaways. And you can get a free 30-day trial to Amazon Prime. Click it through our link tree. That's right. If you haven't used Amazon Prime, it's fucking great.
He's trying to sell his soul is what he's doing.
I see that. I see that.
He's just gonna
sell out.
See, that's what I said.
She only said it because you said I was selling my soul.
Fucking sell out.
It
always happens. You get famous, and then it's like,
Hey, but come on. Do you have Amazon Prime?
I do.
And is it not amazing?
It has its moments.
See? Well, it has its moments. It's better than it doesn't have its moments.
Until your special needs kids figures out that it delivers very fast and then hounds you every fucking day for something new to buy.
Hey, that's what kids are there for.
Not as good.
That's what kids are there for.
That's what kids are there for. This is why Shorty is never going to have kids.
Smart man.
People tell me that.
So, today is all about you, Jen. So, we got some questions for you.
Bring it on.
All right. So, tell us about the boys and what they're like.
Oh, that's really vague.
Their diagnosis, the things they like to do.
So, try to summarize this as best as I can. My oldest, Daniel, was a twin. His twin passed away a week after birth. Yes, I know. Oh, so sorry. Moving on. He was in the hospital for 4 months and a half. He has 4 diagnoses himself. Fragile X, which none of you are going to know what the hell that is.
You're right.
Autism. He has... Shoot, I drew a blank for a second. So Fragile X, autism. He has cerebral palsy and OCD. My youngest, who literally aliened his way out of my body, has Fragile X, autism, ADHD, and cerebral palsy as well. And those are just the main umbrellas.
So what did you call it?
Fragile X syndrome?
Yes. Yeah, what is that?
Okay, that's the one that I wish was on you guys, but it's not. So it's the X chromosome. Men give Y, women give X.
Right.
It's a little lesson for you guys. And my X, when I got pregnant with them, mutated. And it caused developmental delays. So Fragile X is kind of like the biggest umbrella that houses autism, Asperger's, yada, yada, yada.
Okay.
And then it kind of makes everything else more difficult. So like, I can't tell you he's autistic, right? If I tell you he's autistic, then you're going to be like, oh, okay, you have a generalization of what that looks like and how to work with them. Well, then I tell you he has Fragile X, and that means it throws a wrench into the autism design.
Sure.
So good luck figuring out what the hell's happening today. So most things, kids that are just autistic, you kind of can go, okay, this could trigger, that could trigger. They normally flap their hands, blah, blah, blah. But when you throw all the other things that I just told you, what normally would be is not. Mm-hmm. And that just makes it a little bit more complicated.
So I know, like, I've met a few people with autism and stuff like that. And I'm related to a few people with autism. And I try not to treat them any differently than I would anyone else. Because, like, I see them get frustrated when people are being like, oh, it's okay.
Right.
Try to be ginger or whatever. And then a cousin of mine who has, he has a form of autism. I don't know. They have a special word for it, but I don't know what it is. He gets really upset and frustrated when people treat him differently. He's like, damn it, I'm normal. Like, quit treating me differently. So I don't, even like we had a kid down the road, a pair of brothers. The one was my friend because me and him would go out and play. Then another one, his brother had Down syndrome. But then we would be in his basement playing video games, and he was really good at video games. Mm-hmm. And so we just sit downstairs and play video games all the time. And I didn't realize what the word retarded meant at the time. Because, like, me and my friends would call each other retarded. Well, I just called him retarded because he was really good at video games, and he would beat me all the time. I was like, damn it. And I'm like, how did you do that? You retard? And, like,
right.
It didn't correlate with me. And then one day his mom overheard me and then yelled at me and told me what it meant. And I was like, oh, well, I didn't know. Like, I was unaware. And then I stopped doing it, and my buddy Patterson, who had Down syndrome, asked me why I stopped. And I was like, well, I found out it was a rude insult.
Right.
And he was like, well, it's only when I do something dumb in video games. I'm like, yeah, but your mom says it's because you have Down syndrome. And he says so. And I was like, got it, noted. So I didn't so now in general public, I don't call anybody with Down syndrome retarded. But whenever we were together, it didn't matter because he understood I wasn't talking about him.
Correct. So you just hit it again. I think we're going to beat this horse down in this whole this whole session, because here's the thing. You said it again. Society.
Right.
Society. Why is the word fuck a swear? Because society says it's so. But it's not.
I feel like I've read into this.
I don't think fuck's a swear. I think fuck is majestic.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, who decides what a cuss word is?
Right.
Who decides what something is wrong? Who decides what people, society, the masses, right? And normally it's the uppities, the one percenters. It's all individuals. Okay, my mother used to say, very good retarded kid. And that was just her way of, like we did something correctly. And she's like, well, about damn time you figured it out, right?
Yeah,
so she's
stupid.
like, very good retarded kid. As I got older and obviously I had my kids, yes, I've learned that what the word retarded means. And it does mean someone with disabilities, developmental delays, and all of that stuff. Okay, that's the actual definition. But it's like anything else. It's like... I'm trying really hard not to be very, very taboo here, but it's like anything else. It's like calling me a spick, right? I'm Puerto Rican, so you call me a spick. I kind of find that funny because then they call Mexicans wetbacks, and I'm like, there's no ocean, so technically the wetback should be the Puerto Ricans because we're surrounded by water. Right. We're from an island, and then the spick would be Mexicans, but it's a derogatory
See, there's
form.
my racism coming out because I thought they were one of the same.
No, exactly. It's different. So but I don't care. Like, you can call me a spick every which way to Sunday. I don't give a shit because it's me. I'm not going to allow you to make me feel less than by calling me that. I use that terminology all the time.
Sure.
Again, the word retarded, it kind of, how can I put it? The word itself doesn't matter. Like, whatever. But if you saw my boys and been like, oh, look at those retards. Yeah, I'm going to fuck you up.
Yeah, that's
different.
Yeah.
But if you were like, again, connotation, or you're just joking, you're talking, whatever, you'd be like, oh my God, you're being so stupid or so retarded. It's the fact that you're trying to say that people will argue. The reason why it's bad is because you're basically saying that a person that has developmental delays is lacking or flawed or wrong. So when you use it in a joking manner, that's wrong. Okay. It's tiresome because people are not using it in that way. People are just joking. People are just, it's like saying faggot. It's like saying dyke. It's like, we all grew up with those terminologies. And a person that is confident, it's about, how about you work on yourself?
Sure.
Be confident in who you are. Yeah. Be confident in what you believe in. Yep. And don't let anybody else, what they have to say, affect you. Like, if you are a confident, let's say, lesbian.
Right.
Okay, nothing that anyone tells you should matter because you know who you are.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's all that matters. So all of these words, it's like, okay, I will say it because I'm going to say this. A Puerto Rican is a compilation of 3 races. Okay. I am blacker than most black people. I am Indian, and I'm also Spaniard. If you see me, my sister, and my brother, all races are depicted. I'm the white one, unfortunately. That means Spaniard. My sister's the Indian, perfect fucking olive skin. And then my brother's the black guy. You see all 3 races in us, okay? Right. So my great-grandmother was blacker than night. Like one of those jokes, shut off the light, you can't find her, because she was that black. And she used to be a slave. Like, black. So if you go to Puerto Rico, you will see it. You will see blonde hair, blue eyes, red hair, green eyes, black person with green eyes. And you'll be like, what is going on? That is what a Puerto Rican is. We literally are a melting pot. So with that being said, it bothers me that a black person can say the word nigger all the time. Nigger this, nigger that, nigger. But if somebody else says it, it's wrong. Then don't fucking say it. If it bothers you that much, if it is that derogatory, you shouldn't be able to say it yourself either. And I have a really good friend that he's black and he hates it. He hates when other black people use that word. Because if you know that it was used that way, what's the excuse that then you can use it? That's ignorance. Now that would be retarded. You're being stupid.
Exactly right. I agree.
You don't want someone else to call you that way.
Now full circle there, didn't we?
Here's a little tidbit. In Africa, the word nigger is a term of endearment.
Yeah.
White people turned it bad, and so now it's so bad or whatever. But if you go to Africa, you'll be hearing people say that left and right, and you're like, oh no. And it's the culture. It's okay. But then here it's not. How about we break away from that cycle and stop getting offended over words that you're allowing someone else to hold power over you? Like it's an individual, and that's the problem.
I have a question. All right, so
I might have an answer.
I would hope that you have an answer to this one, because you are the answer grape today. Okay? So I've seen the term Latinx used a lot lately.
Latinx?
Did I stump you on this one?
Yeah, you did.
All right.
I've never heard of Latinx.
Well, then we're done, because we're done with that question, because I don't know what it means either.
I was
hoping that you knew. I think it's a newer generation thing. I don't know.
Well, I will tell you this, like Hispanic, okay, if you ever fill out a stupid form, you'll see that it says Hispanic or Latino. Same freaking shit. The difference is Hispanic covers anyone from a Spanish country, okay? Venezuela, Mexico, Puerto Rico, the Caribbean, blah, blah, blah. Latin, or calling yourself Latino, your brother, for example, he's a Latino. Why? Because he's part French. And that is a Latin country, Latin language. Italians are also Latinos because they are a Latin language.
You just fucked my whole
world.
You
just gave the blandest person in the world, my brother, a little bit of flavor. And he should be so appreciative to you for that.
He's a Latino. So
I hope you're listening, bub.
So that's why a lot of people, you can ask a Mexican, do you like to be considered Hispanic or Latino? And some of them will say Hispanic. And then you'll get other Spanish people be like, would you like Hispanic or Latino? And they'll be like, Hispanic. So again, it's the individual. So it all means the same fucking thing.
What is Menorcan descent? Would that be considered Latino?
What the hell is Menorcan?
Oh God,
you're just
Are you saying that right?
No, it's so Ponce de Leon. He was Menorcan.
Ponce de Leon.
Yeah, you say it much more eloquently than I do. Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, he was Menorcan, and that's what Kira is. Kira's Menorcan. And I want to say that's like right there around.
That sounds
Spain.
like a stupid fucking whale.
It sounds like a made up word, but okay.
Like a stupid orca, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Menorcan.
I don't know. Maybe it's part French or something like that, because I could have sworn isn't Ponce de Leon. No, he was Spaniard. I guess it all depends on where from Spain or what part of the country you're from, because it has different terminologies. Like even in Puerto Rico, when it was actually founded, even though there were Indians there, they created different names. And like right now, okay, we're speaking street English, right? Because if we were speaking proper English, we would be speaking like the people from England, British, and all that stuff. That's proper English. We speak street English.
We speak a very bastardized language.
We've adapted, we've added words that we've made up and all that shit. Mm-hmm. So the Spanish that I speak, for example, is street Spanish, let's say. It's the Spanish that's mixed with the Indian Taino. It's mixed with everything. So you kind of have that Spanish. But the educated, or the more, is Castellano. And you will hear that in Spain. Like the people that are from Spain, that they speak that Spanish, that's more educated, more classy.
Sure. And see that reminded me of how curse words came to be or whatever. Curse words were common words used by peasants, not by royalty or fancy people and nobles and stuff like that. Correct. That's seriously why it's a thing. And they try to phase it out and consider it bad because only the peasants used those words.
Fuck is an acronym. Did you know that?
What?
No, that's a myth. If you're going to say that fuck stands for fornication under the consent of the king, that's a myth.
Oh,
yeah,
killed it.
Yeah, it's not accurate.
I will tell you this, though. Watch, what's his name?
I thought I was smart for a minute.
No. On Netflix, there is a show called The History of Curse Words. And Nicolas Cage actually hosts it, so we know that it's good. And it will explain to you.
Eye of the beholder.
It will explain to you where the word shit, fuck, damn, I forget what other cuss words come from, and how all of a sudden they became bad words.
Yeah.
And one of the things, and they have scientists, they have doctors on the show explaining different things, and they actually say that people that cuss are actually less stressed out than people that don't.
Bullshit.
Because you let it out. Like when you cuss, you let out some of that stress, some of that anger. You kind of deflate yourself a little bit.
I gotcha.
And then you're fine. Whereas people that just keep it all in and don't, they're more uptight, more
I understand the implication and like the idea of that.
So imagine how much more stressed we'd be if we didn't say fuck.
Exactly.
All right. Well, here, I'm going to ask you to bottle this up for a second because we're going to get to the next question.
Go for it.
We are so derailed today.
Good.
Hey, I'm here for it. It's been a great time.
It's going to be a long episode, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, me too. All right. So what has been your biggest hurdle raising your boys?
People.
People
will say, oh, okay, here are the normal sayings. You're so strong. You must be so strong. Or God doesn't give special children to people that can't, whatever. And it's like, no.
But God does give big old dicks to certain people. Let's just.
We ain't even gonna go there. Oh my God, yes. So yeah, that's when I tell you that God has a sense of humor. So
fucking what?
We'll get to it in a second.
We'll get into that. Since he brought it up, we'll get into that. So people make it more difficult. Why? Because they don't know.
Right.
It's like I told Tyler. Say whatever you want to say because you need to ask me. You won't know if you don't fucking ask me. Like the word retarded. Now, granted, let's put this out there. That's my opinion, my personal way of being. Most other mothers or in the community of special needs are not okay with the word retarded. Right. I still don't like it just because it shows ignorance depending on who's the person saying it. You know what I'm saying? Among you guys, whatever. Mm-hmm. But yeah, to me, it's just ignorance. It's kind of like the word GD.
Sure.
Now, the word GD, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. But again, that's because, and I am not, you know me, I am not holier than thou.
Right.
I am not religious. I am not Bible thumper, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. But I do believe in God.
Yeah.
And I do believe in just human decency. When you say that word to someone else, you're literally damning them. Like, that's to me the worst thing you could possibly tell somebody.
Sure.
More than anything else. Because you're like hoping that like the worst fucking thing can ever happen.
Well, see, there's a funny thing with that terminology. Whenever somebody says like, "Oh, God damn it," or something like that.
Yeah.
They're not actually saying like they're damning you by God or whatever, and even using the words the Lord, the names, the Lord's name in vain or whatever. Saying those things actually implicates that. Or more specifically, like I swear to God or stuff like that, is when you're willing to put your faith on the line. And when you're saying God damn it, like, well, okay, God wouldn't.
It's a curse though.
It's
like you're not a swear curse. I mean, like you're damning.
Yeah. I understand the implication, but like that context has been lost over time because like, whenever you would say God damn it, you're wishing it would not happen. Is how the context of that actually arose. And I only learned this from my Jewish cousin.
Okay.
Because he told me about it. Because, I say it a lot. We play D&D together, and he told me about it. Yeah. So, we, I'm
going to let that go because we would totally derail again if we get into D&D. But, I mean, okay, so people. Because people, instead of asking, they assume. Don't assume. Just ask. You see me at the restaurant, and you're wondering, is that normal? Does he need to get spanked or whatever? Or like, what's wrong with him? Just ask me. Honest to God, I will not get offended. Most of us will not get offended.
Yeah.
And by that, I mean, most of us that are good parents, that love our children, that actually are busting ass to give them the best life. Okay. Now you will come across other parents, and I will say it, that if they could go back, they wouldn't. And that's okay. That doesn't make them a bad person. That just means that they realize that this was something that they couldn't handle or they wish they wouldn't have to handle. You know what I'm saying? But when you come across parents that are like me and you said it, you don't treat your nephews differently. You treat them the same. That is all I've ever done. The only person that needs to know their limitations is me.
Absolutely. Right.
They don't need to know their limitations. And because of that, even the doctors have told me that they have come farther than they would have because I did not put those limitations on them.
Right.
I always forced it, tried, try again. If it didn't happen, okay, we'll revisit it next year. But I never limit them or make them. And like Tony plays video games and, Daniel was supposed to die. He was supposed to be nonverbal, blah, blah, blah with Daniel. And now he's a science anomaly. Why? Because science can't explain everything.
Right.
And he has the highest brain damage that you could possibly have on one ventricle and then the second highest on the other. So he should be a vegetable. He shouldn't be able to retain any information.
He walks, he talks. I mean,
he may not be able to carry a conversation like you and I.
Sure.
He may not even be able to put 3 words together, but he has words. So
And he does the important things on his own.
Exactly.
He can feed himself.
Exactly.
I mean, he's not going to cook or prepare something, but he can get in the fridge. He can get what he needs.
Well, I think that's very important, and like I try to do this with my nieces and nephews, even when they were real little, because like none of my nieces or nephews, except for one, has a lot of like mental issues or just or physical disabilities. They you don't treat them any differently.
Correct.
You let them do it, and the kid down the road, Patterson, he would tell me if he couldn't do something.
Correct.
So I'd be like, come on, man, let's go. And he'd be like, no, I can't. Like, riding the bike. We were 13, 14 years old, and everybody in my age group, rode a bike. Everybody knew how to. And he didn't have one. So I asked him, I was like, Patterson, you want to ride my bike for a little bit? He said, no, I don't know how. I was like, do you want to learn? He goes, no. And I was like, okay. And that was it. Like, I didn't tell him, like, oh, be careful, bud. I was just like, do you ride it?
Now, in that sense, though, it's good to also try to motivate them. Because in his mind, I mean, I don't know him, but in his mind, maybe, he's been told, you will never do this.
Sure.
So, therefore, he has caused a limitation in himself because he's heard it from other people.
Right.
So, you might have been able to been like, you know what, bud? No harm, no foul. You want to try? I got your back. Like, I'm right here with you. Yeah. And that's the thing, though. Like, most people, and even parents, and I've seen it. Oh, my God, I've seen it. They're like, oh, they can't. And I will say it to this, and I don't care. I may lose friends or whatever, but stop limiting your kids. Like, let them try. Let them freaking try. What would it kill you? Let them try. And if it doesn't happen, just be like, you know what, bud? We'll try again some other time. Okay, cool. Give them the confidence that even if they don't succeed, they're willing to try.
Yeah.
But most parents are so absorbed with their own pain, because it's kind of a loss. We live, and it is PTSD, guys. It is. Being a parent with special needs kids, it is living in PTSD because of so many things that we constantly have to face, the repetitiveness, the noises that they make sometimes, and you have to like deal with it, and you're wondering, oh my God, how long is this going to be? 3 months? Or like when Tony ended up saying fuck a whole summer. He will be playing video games and he's fine. He's not upset. There's not a behavior thing. He just liked to hear the word all of a sudden. So he would be sitting there playing a video game, and that's all he would say. And I swear, my husband and I were like, Lord, when school starts, please make this stop. Let it stop before school starts, because we didn't want to get that call. So your son won't stop saying fuck. You know what I mean?
Right.
But we didn't like beat him up about it. Like, we didn't like Tony or whatever, because the more focus you give him, the more he'll say it.
Exactly.
And then luckily he stopped.
Yep.
But that causes... things like that cause PTSD, because this time it was the word fuck. But there are times that he'll be like, try hearing all freaking day. You know what I'm saying? That causes PTSD in a parent, but you do the best that you can.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. Our kids are not the difficult part. It's everyone else that makes it difficult, because instead of asking, they refuse to ask, so they assume, and then they make our lives a little bit harder.
Sure.
And schools do that too. They refuse to fully include a kid. And if you fully include our kids, guess what? Other kids will be desensitized, will be around it, and then it won't be so much of an issue.
Absolutely.
But the adults are the ones that you fear what you don't know. You fear what you can't control, what you can't handle, right? So it's easier to just put them all in a box and just contain them that way than actually do the extra work and fucking just have everybody together. You know what I mean? So it's just my 2 cents.
No, I feel it. Like I understand completely where you're coming from, because I've done a really good job, because a few of my friends growing up had like very bad Tourette's, and so like I'm pretty educated on Tourette's specifically. So like I run into somebody with Tourette's or whatever, and they'll just randomly do things. I'm just like, and because, like, most people with Tourette's, they don't want to acknowledge. They're like, we get it. It's annoying. I'm sorry. And I'm like, don't apologize.
It's like a person that stutters.
Yeah,
that would be like the simplest version of special needs. And there's actually a comedian that I love, and he stutters, and he's hilarious.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Lynch or whatever. Okay, not giving him a shout out or anything. But Lynch, I think he's awesome. And he stutters, and he owns it. He's like, I can't say but banana. And it's hilarious.
Right.
And those are the kind of things where it's like people just... whatever, like I'm pretty sure you, Tyler, honestly, yes, you're bald, but you're a young guy, right? At some point that did bother you. that did bother you. It had to have bothered you.
It bothers him.
It bothers me too.
It bothers you, exactly, because you shouldn't not have hair. You should have a full head of hair. You know what I mean? And it might make you feel less than, right? And then sitting across this one over here was Harry Henderson over here. Right. You know, it affects you. You get what I'm saying? And you wouldn't like constant jokes of, you're bald, you're bald, you're bald,
I get constant jokes of I'm bald, and I love it.
But you know what I mean?
But it's also not as sensitive as subject. But let me also say, God bless me with a very, very nicely
very beautiful
shaped
head. Yes, you do.
So, all right. Anyways, we are running really long today,
Sorry,
so let's get to the next question.
Sorry.
All right. And the only reason I say that is because I want people to hear everything you have to say about some of this stuff.
And again, it's conflicting because I am me. Not every woman, mother, parent has my way of thinking.
And I fucking appreciate it, dude. So, you have no idea.
I mean, everyone's different. And a lot of people are more conservative. A lot of people are more conservative or more, you know,
so I'm going to skip over the next two questions and get to this one.
Okay.
Because I feel like, to an extent, you've already mentioned it without mentioning it.
Okay.
So what are your thoughts on amnio tests?
I disagree.
I
disagree. It's where they stick a needle in your belly when you're pregnant to test if your kid has any special needs. If your kid is going to be born with any. I completely disagree for so many reasons. But number one, we live in a time where before you choose to have children, then get tested. Like genetically, you can find out if you're predisposed to certain things. You know what I'm saying? Don't wait until the baby's actually formed in your womb to start poking at it because it can cause issues then.
Right.
Can I offer a separate solution to this to maybe make an amnio test okay? So here's my thoughts on amnio tests. I'm against them, but I'm also for them. And here's why I'm against them. Because if you want to get an amnio test and then turns out your kid's going to have special needs, you're like, screw it, I'm just going to get an abortion.
Right.
To me, that's not okay. This is my opinion. Right. It's not the views shared by everybody, okay?
Exactly.
So, but here's where an amnio test, in my opinion, becomes a good thing. If you can sign something beforehand saying, no matter what the results are, I'm not getting rid of this child, can I please have an amnio test? In that circumstance, I believe it's good, and here's why.
Okay.
Because if you feel like that you were just, I'm not ready to have a special needs child. I can't do it. Like,
no one's ever ready, but okay.
Then you can either make steps to try to be prepared, or you can take steps to, hey, when this child's born, I need to find a suitable home for them.
Okay, so here's my contradiction to that. Okay. Here's the thing. And this is the same. Like, there's so many topics.
You actually answered my next question for me, though.
There's so many damn topics. For example, I don't believe in abortion used as a contraceptive.
No, not as a contraceptive.
Not as a contraceptive. If you were raped and you literally cannot live 9 months carrying this child, I totally understand you having an abortion.
I think if you're raped and you have an abortion, period, even if you can have the baby, I kind of agree with that.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, rape to me, yeah. Not everybody can handle that.
Sure.
So do what you think you need to do in that regard. What pisses me off is hoes spreading their legs and then whoopsie, I got pregnant, so let me kill this kid. That is unacceptable. Okay? Or if you already have kids and then you're like, you know what? I don't want another one. Okay, well then you still laid in bed, you still spread your legs. We live in 2021 where there are many ways to stop you from getting pregnant.
Sure.
Then keep the damn baby and give it up for adoption. There are many families that would love to have it. In that regard, it wasn't rape. It was a choice. You got knocked up. Don't kill the kid because you made a bad choice. There's no excuse in 2021 for you not to prevent a baby.
All right, let me add to this, fellas listening. Fellas, it is our job to child to not have kids. All right, it's on us too.
Yeah,
wear a damn raincoat.
Well, no, see, like it's funny because I've talked to a few women about this because I've always tried to educate myself further, and like a lot of women agree with that sentiment. I've met quite a few that agree with that sentiment, and the other one would be like if there's a detriment to their life,
exactly,
and the baby,
yes,
that is another reason why they would.
Absolutely.
Because one of my friends, she had an abortion because she found out her vaginal canal. Or pelvis bone or whatever, like when it spreads or whatever, like it would not, if they had to do it, like they would have to break it in order to get the baby out.
Right, and it's harmful.
And they said, but they couldn't do a C-section because of the complications that she had younger.
Correct.
And she said, that if she were to have the kid and carry it full term and all that stuff, there would be like a high risk of death.
Right.
And she was like, then I don't want it.
Exactly.
And she like, it destroyed her.
If you don't have them, if you're not going to be alive, you're not going to be there for the kid.
Right.
Like, you come first. And to answer that question, that right there, what he just said for the amnio testing, if there is a risk that your baby is already dead, is fractured, it's gonna die, whatever, something is wrong, or it could kill the woman, I agree with then, because she has all of these variables that would lead up to that.
Okay.
I agree with getting tested because now it's a life and death situation.
Right.
But like in Canada, for example, in case you didn't know, they promote this test so that if you find out that they have Down syndrome, you kill it. Like, what? That's why there's not a lot of Down syndrome people, and that's not okay. Like, there are Down syndrome people that are lawyers, doctors, professors.
Really?
Yes.
I did not know this.
Yes.
Well,
Down
not
syndrome
all Down
does
syndrome. Not all Down syndrome is so severe to where
Exactly.
it's noticeable.
It's just genetic. It's aesthetic. A lot of them is more aesthetic, where they have the look of a Down syndrome, but they're intellectually sound. Like, they don't have the developmental delays that other people have. But then you get Down syndromes that do have the developmental delays and all of that stuff. So that is wrong. You're gonna terminate a pregnancy because it's not, you're perfect. Then those are the things that I implore people that are thinking about having kids, get tested. Because after the fact, that it's inhumane for you to make that choice. Your choice is prior to. Now, again, granted, we all don't go and have sex thinking we're going to get knocked up. Oopsies do happen, right? In those situations, it's out of your control. So maybe at that point, if you have, what's the word I'm looking for? If you have the existing things that would say that you possibly are going to have a special needs kid or whatever, then okay, get tested. But there's no excuse for ignorance in 2021. There's way too many things out there for prevent or to find out where you are before you if you're not ready to be an adult, don't spread your legs.
Right.
All right. Next question.
100%.
We're answer this one fairly quickly.
Okay.
Okay.
No promises.
Exactly. Advice for new parents of special needs children.
Oh, you know what? You got to build your village. You have to.
I like it.
You have to. You cannot pretend that you're going to do this alone. You can't. I did it for a very long time, and you deplete yourself. You forget. You put yourself last. You forget your own health, and you're no good to your kids if you don't take care of yourself. Surround yourself with people. I mean, you know this. I have no family around here, my own personal family, and your brother, let's be real, is not that close to the family itself. So there's not like a lot of people we could tap into. So you have to surround yourself with people that you trust. And unfortunately, going back to the Dick comment, it's very difficult to trust people when you have special needs kids because they cannot, most of them. There's a lot that are verbal. There's a lot that are higher functioning. And yes, I know special needs community hate that terminology. We hate higher functioning, lower functioning, whatever.
I did not know that.
It's okay. Again, it's who you ask.
Okay.
Terminologies people don't like. Special needs. Some people don't like special needs. Some people like mentally challenged. Everyone uses their own verbiage. And with all respect to everyone, you do you, I'll do me. You know what I mean? Let's respect each other and how we view things. Let's stop attacking each other just because we're not using the word you want or the descriptors that you want. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Everyone does it differently. So, sorry, going back to the question that you asked me. What was it again?
New advice for new parents.
So just, try to trust people, try to have them around. And the comment that Tyler had made was that my oldest son, and I am his mother, but I am not blind, God thought it was funny to hang him like a horse. So he's very well endowed. Okay.
You know what's funny about that? Because I've heard so many people that have Down syndrome have huge dicks.
Yes. So he is very, very well endowed. So it is a constant, or it was because he's not in school anymore. It was a constant worry for me because I see my son. I know what he got. I'm his mother.
Right.
If somebody else looks at my son any other way, but the fact that he's just a grown baby, I'm going to prison. So that was very difficult because he's well endowed. Now, Tony, who's higher functioning, we think that maybe one day might have a girlfriend. He's average. So, God has a sense of humor. The one could use it, didn't get it, but the one that is never going to use it. Got it. So that is...
Well, I hope he gets to use it one day.
You know, unless we get him a stripper, it's not going to happen. So...
Just saying.
Or we get
Don't
him
curse a man like that. That's rude.
But I mean, that's the advice that I have is the fact that don't close yourself off. Don't isolate yourself. You have to trust. Yes, it's hard having a daughter or a son because you're like, if they do anything, I mean, that's our constant thing. If they do anything to my kid, I'm going to kill them, you know, and that's hard, but you got to try to surround yourself with somebody, just maybe 2 people to be able to get through
the old saying is it takes a village to raise a child. Like I can only imagine that it's a slightly bigger village to raise a child with special needs.
Absolutely.
Like that takes a lot.
Find out what's out there. There's programs, groups, there's so many things out there. Don't just be like, oh no, you know, and we all go through the mourning process because when you have a kid, you have this whole life, right? You picture them going to school, getting married, blah, blah, blah. And all of that was taken from you.
Right.
Allow yourself also to go through the motions. Don't block it away because that's not healthy either.
Yep.
And then you're going to end up being resentful or whatever. Go through the motions and then pick yourself up and find your village. I mean, that's important.
Yep. Absolutely.
All right. One last thing. I know you were involved in a lot of stuff, a lot of outreaches, a lot of community work, the MC. Let's give a quick shout out to the things you're involved with.
Well, right now, our biggest involvement is Brandon, my husband, joined the Punishers, Queen City Punishers, and they are a global law enforcement. They are a global law enforcement motorcycle club. They are for law enforcement. They are for firefighters. They are for military, ex-military. They support, and also like-minded people can join. They support, from PTSD, veterans, law enforcement, like I said, first responders, women from battered situations, special needs. He actually joined it because on Daniel's 21st birthday, COVID, right? Fuck you, COVID. And I was like, no, he's lost so much. I'll be damned if he loses his 21st birthday. So I reached out to the fire department, who are awesome. Hebron, love y'all. And the police department, same. Fantastic people. And they all did a drive-by.
Yeah.
And then it just so happens that one of the police officers is a Punisher, and he came and all of them reached out. I mean, I got messages from Brazil, from all over the place from these Punishers saying happy birthday to him. So they made it happen.
Yeah, that's
which
awesome.
Is awesome.
You gave me goosebumps.
Which is awesome because damn it, and maybe it was for me too because I've raised them this far. It was a high milestone, and I'll be damned if we were just going to be like, oh, it's just another day. You know what I mean? We did find out he doesn't like beer. So far, he likes no alcohol. That's good.
Me neither.
So
I love alcohol.
And that's how Brandon got into the Punishers. He, became prospected or whatever, and they do a lot of outreach, a lot of things, obviously, which is amazing. And then I found out because I ride motorcycles myself. I don't do bitch. I ride my own.
That a girl.
So I found out they had a sister motorcycle club. We call it riding club, and they are the Veritas Aequits or Veritas Aequitas if we want to do it Latin. And they are the sister club of the Punishers, and we are the tri-state Veritas Aequitas, and I'm the president. I just started a chapter because we didn't have any here, and it's for the same thing, law enforcement, women, but it's strictly for women, first responders, like-minded individuals.
Yeah.
And it's really cool because we find a cause, and right now we're actually going to be working with who helps the first responders, right? In the moment. They see a lot of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the name of the organization, but we're going to connect with them and support them. They're an organization that helps first responders in lifetime when they're facing like really hard things to help them. And again, I know this is a taboo conversation, law enforcement, shooting people, blah, blah, blah. So I need to say this. This is important. If we do not want to be targeted based on the actions of a few, then we shouldn't do that to others. Just because some police officers are being fucking idiots does not mean the whole are fucking idiots.
Absolutely.
They are a group of amazing men and women, including the fire department. So if we don't want to be, accused of our race or whatever, doing X, Y, and Z for the actions of a few, then stop doing it to our law enforcement and our firefighters for the actions of a few.
Absolutely.
The few does not the whole make.
Yep.
Very well said. Thank you. It has been an absolute pleasure you being on. This has been one of...
Are we done? Is this it?
Dude, we have to wrap it up. So, I do want to thank you. This has been one of the best. This has been my favorite episode so far.
This has been great.
And I have barely had to say a word.
Well, thank you for having me, Tyler.
You are very welcome. Thank you for coming on. So today's outer idiot of the day is going to be shared by your entire household. Yourself, Brandon, Anthony, Daniel, Savannah, Elliot, all the pups in your household. You are the outer idiot of the day.
Okay, and what does that mean?
That just means
we're the inner idiots.
Oh, we're the outer idiots.
Yeah.
I feel special. Yay.
You're not included.
It's basically a big thank you.
Oh,
We see you. We appreciate you, everything you do.
No problem.
Thank you.
And again, no offense to anyone else and anyone else's opinion. This is strictly my opinion. I'm not representing anyone but myself and my family.
I'd like to think we have one of the better listener bases out there.
Okay.
Because we're so dumb, they have to hear dumb shit. So when they hear something of intelligence, they should appreciate it no matter what it is.
You know what, though? I think
They're
you're
gaining
a very
brain
smart
cells.
person.
Right.
When I first met Tyler, I thought he was like, holy shit, smart, intellectual, just very in texting. Okay, in texting.
Oh!
In texting. So I was
like, fucking hell.
No, I was first talking to him. When I first met him, it was through text. And I was like, wow, he's so smart. Not that I'm insulting my husband, because he's smart too. But I was like, he's very educated in the way he uses his words. I was very impressed because I'm an English major. So writing is my thing. I'm a writer. And the way
Glad
that
it wasn't ever text that we met because I'm fucking
yeah.
terrible.
And then I met him in person and I'm like, wow, talk about false advertisement. Like, how did we go from A to B?
Yeah.
Because then he talked in person and everything that came out was
Fucking stupid.
just,
Yeah.
yeah.
Fucking stupid. See, I'm the exact opposite. People are like, wow, Shorty, you're really
Hilarious.
smart. And then I text and they're like, you're an idiot. And I'm like, you're right.
So he is actually smart. He just loves to pretend that he's stupid.
That's all we got for you today, people. Before we divulge too much shit. So in the meantime,
In the betweens time.
remember, money can't buy you happiness, but it can buy a lot of cool shit that'll make you happy.
That's right.
Cue the music. We out.